Hi, and welcome to the next segment of Sell More Life. Life expert Rick Katz presents to us what I think you may find to be your absolute favorite approach to selling more life insurance and, frankly, just helping your clients, period. When you hear what he has to say, in particular, the 17 questions, it will blow you away. And whether you're helping personal clients or business clients, you may find this to be your favorite approach, the one that you almost always use with every single client. So without further delay, let me introduce Rick Katz presenting the Day After Simulator. Here's Rick.
Hello, this is Rick Katz, and are you ready to sell more life insurance? Are you ready for your clients to start asking you, when are we going to talk about life insurance? It can happen and will happen. The way to do it is to take yourself out of the role of life insurance agent and place yourself in the role of confidant, insurance expert, advisor, problem solver, and interested party. We call that an insurance professional. The following client development technique, the Day After Simulator, is a highly effective method of assisting your client to understand and feel the importance of the planning you're advocating. While we're using this simulator to assess planning up to this point, you'll surely find other uses for the concept. In the Air Force, new pilots learn not only how to fly sophisticated aircraft, but they learn how to use them most effectively against an opposing force and under critical circumstances. As they learn and discover shortcomings, nobody gets hurt and nothing is destroyed, except perhaps their confidence from time to time. But that sure beats getting blown out of the sky or crashing from a malfunction. In life planning, there are also opposing forces in critical circumstances. Why not work in a simulator like fighter pilots? Why not keep the potential danger, damage, and crisis of confidence to a minimum? As the professional, this is an ideal role. Deliver this concept to all of your clients, and they will surely enjoy the benefits and appreciate the part that you have played. Here's the setup. Imagine you have a new client and you're trying to determine how much planning and fulfillment they have already completed. This doesn't just mean how much life insurance they own, it also means how organized they are and what level of preparedness they have achieved. I had a husband and wife client that were taken through the simulator and failed miserably. At the completion of the exercise, the wife said it was just like a fire drill and that they learned that their whole family would have gotten stuck in a burning building. Specifically, based on their results, the family would have suffered a tax bill significantly higher than necessary. Both surviving spouses would have carried out the wishes of the other inaccurately and not as either one wanted it. They didn't know the advisors they should access, and they both failed to recover benefits available to them. Today, the wife has survived her husband and has said that her husband's battle with cancer was hard enough. She can't even imagine how much more difficult it would have been if she was not as prepared and organized financially to deal with all the circumstances surrounding her husband's death. That, my friends, is what we get paid for as insurance professionals, not selling insurance policies. So let's take a look inside your office to see how this works. You have asked your new prospective clients to meet about all the complex details that would surround the unfortunate event of the death of either one of them. Propose that they go through a fire drill. You will need 60 minutes, and it will only take longer if they wish to take more time. Always respect your client's time. In turn, they'll respect yours. Hello, John, Nancy. Thanks for coming in today. Are you ready for your fire drills? Here's how it works. You can explain to them what a simulator is regarding Air Force pilots, or use a story to which you can relate more comfortably. John and Nancy are sitting next to each other. Prepare a sign on PowerPoint that says, are you ready for this? I'm dead and I'm not happy about it. This will be used in just a moment. To make this most successful and with the greatest impact, do not prepare your clients for this meeting with any details. This has to fall under the trust me on this one category. The reason for this is because of 3 indisputable facts about a loved one dying that almost always happens. They are, number 1, most deaths do not occur in a period of time to contemplate the future first. Number 2, it just happens and never at a good time. And number 3, no matter how long you think you knew it was going to happen, you're still going to be surprised when it does. After you have sat your clients down and told them briefly about the simulator, you may want to remind them of these facts. Now, decide who goes first. Ideally, you want the wife to speak first. For whatever reason, you'll discover that there is typically the widest gap in expectations and results with the husband. Also, men tend to become more offended or embarrassed than women. This, of course, is not our intention at all. We want them to be better off as a result of going through the process. Also, most importantly, women outlive men statistically, and she will more likely have to deal with it first. Give John the sign and explain that she will be up first. Now tell John that he's dead and he can't respond at all. It's the day after. Once you have all the roles defined, you set it up. Nancy, I'm very, very sorry for your loss. John was a great guy, and I know he loved you very, very much. Based on my conversations with him, I think he at least left you in a fair financial position, even though it was irresponsible for him to skydive from the Eiffel Tower and get himself killed. Humor is important. It might sound silly, but all emotions are important at this point. This will also keep the meeting a little bit lighter and not be too serious, even though it's very important materials. This will keep all of you focused on the event and not the relationship. In front of you, you have a series of questions for Nancy, and you ask them one at a time. This is real life, and you don't give out grades. The purpose is to discover the holes in their planning and fix them immediately. As questions are not answered properly or with uncertainty, make a note to fix it. Okay, so here's your list. Number 1, do you know where the insurance policies are located? You can explain that a safe deposit box is not the best place to keep them since it may be hard to get to. Number 2, have you discussed who the financial advisor should be that will help you with a lump sum distribution from the insurance company? Not necessarily self-serving, you may not be the best suited to do this. Number 3, do you know all of your insurance agents and how to locate them, including auto, homeowners, life, health, etc.? There may be liability or other issues to deal with, and you will at least have to remove their names from policies. Number 4, do you know where you can find the last will? Again, the safe deposit box may not be the best place. See the module on Just In Case file for more information. Number 5, did he or she ever mention anything about an ethical will? If you haven't listened to the documentation strategy yet, I suggest you do so prior to this meeting. Number 6, which accountant will be assisting you in filing the IRS Form 706? That's the estate settlement form. This also opens the door to discuss estate settlement issues. Number 7, do you know which attorney to ask to assist you through this process? You should have an attorney with whom you work to refer them if they don't have one. Number 8, where did he or she want to be buried? Or did he or she want to be cremated? This is a sensitive topic that is a discussion they should have very soon. Number 9, did he or she want someone in particular to speak or not speak at the funeral? This question can also be addressed in the ethical will. Number 10, do you know of any other specific requests regarding the funeral service? This question can also be addressed in the ethical will. Number 11, do you know if any past employers continued life insurance benefits? A small percentage of employers fail to remove participants from group life plans after their separation from service. Check it out. There might be benefits there. Number 12, was there any credit life protection on his credit cards, mortgage, car loans, or any other debt? Take advantage of all benefits available. Number 13, where can you find all the outstanding bills, accounts, and contracts? Name and title changes and transfer, not to mention tax ramifications they'll have to deal with. Number 14, where is the information about retirement accounts, IRAs, 401k, stock, annuities, and any other investments? Same as above, title changes, taxes, ownership issues, and so forth. Number 15, are there any separate bank accounts set up for Christmas and birthday gifts? This exists more often than you may think. Number 16, if death occurs during their employment, are there any additional benefits available like accidental death, common carrier death, benefits from the travel agency? This might even include refundable outstanding travel vouchers, like unused purchased plane tickets. Number 17, finally, if you had the opportunity to spend one more day with your loved one, knowing it was the last day together, what would it look like? Wow, makes you pause. This is a great place to leave it. Take both clients through it and provide them with homework. Any areas that they were not confident of their answers, have them discuss it with their spouse. The finished product should include a higher level of confidence in the outcome and a written piece of paper with the answers to these crucial questions. The list I have provided is only a starting point. Think about your clients and add questions as you see fit. After they have reviewed all the other issues, I would leave your clients with one more item for homework. That last question is an important one. Be sure to ask it and have each of them think about their own answer. Then, have them discuss it with each other and come up with a plan for that one day. Encourage them to act on it sooner rather than later, and if need be, remind them of the 3 indisputable facts about a loved one dying. Perhaps you should conduct the simulator with your spouse first so you can relate to the experience. By the way, you just made another sale. No one had to write a check. Nobody had to vote on anything, yet they acquired a service from you that benefited them greatly. Remember, subsequent sales are always easier than the initial sale. You just made an initial sale, and it wasn't difficult at all. In fact, you should be quite proud of the role you played in this couple's lives. Do you feel that professionalism surrounding you? Just one more thought. While the simulator can have a profound effect on personal clients, consider its value when used with business clients as well. 2 partners, a father and son, the president and heir apparent, the chairman and the board. Of course, your list would be different, but the effect it could have on an organization could be amazing. You have established yourself as a professional confidant at the highest level in the organization. I'm sure you know what to do with that, right? Are you ready to sell more life insurance? It's about time your clients will ask you, can we talk about life insurance now? Life is good. This is Rick Katz for Sell More Life. The more people you help, the more success you'll have.